All right, Miss Mamas, let's talk about the
coronavirus.
Make sure that you're checking out patreon.com/AsianExpression. I just put up an article up there on Thursday that talks about how a lot of people make loving yourself seem like it's this really easy thing to do, and it's definitely not, especially if you're someone who's been used to doing the opposite to yourself for many years. Talked about that, put up my podcast on Tuesday. All the girls over there get the videos early. Make sure you check it out and let me know what you think. Now, I want you all to rest assured that this channel is not going to turn into a coronavirus update channel, but just because so much has happened around this topic since the last time I did a video, I decided to go ahead and knock it out. So many things to cover. So the first thing is to make sure that we put everything into perspective, right? Because we know that the media has, it does have a tendency to blow things out of proportion, and of course the media likes clicks, they like views, they like money. If they have to put up some alarmist ass headlines to get you to click on some stuff, to get you to look at stuff, that's exactly what they're going to do. So this is coming from the Hill just to make sure that we understand what's going on. While the number of coronavirus cases has surpassed 127,000, more than 68,000 people have recovered, okay? The World Health Organization says that those who become infected generally experience mild illness and recover in about 2 weeks. So that's the first thing, is like getting a handle on what actually is going on. Of course, being aware of the spreading cases and the new cases, but like the amount of panic, the amount of people who are not actually looking into what's going on, it's not going to be healthy for any of us. So like I said before, since the last time I saw you guys, a lot of things happened, right? So Trump ended up making this weird ass announcement saying that, hey girls, we're shutting down all travel from Europe, to and from Europe, except coming from the UK, apparently. And his explanation behind that was apparently because the UK is doing such a good job handling it. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time I did research on that, that's what I heard coming from his mouth. And it's really crazy to hear that, because I'm seeing a lot of response from people in the UK online, and they're just like, girl, I don't know what y'all talking about. We already know that Boris Johnson has the same type of weird, destructive mentality that Trump does. I think he recently went up there saying, oh, well, girl, a lot of your family members gonna pass away. It's just like, wow, yeah. Instead of offering solutions or giving these people resources, you just get up there and say, hey, guess what? You are sacrificial lambs. I was like, get out of here. So at first I was going to keep a list of all the things that have been shut down, but girl, as the days have gone on, it has just become impossible to really sit down and list every single one of them. I mean, from the NBA, just like the whole season shut down. I mean, schools are being shut down. A lot of them girls are doing the work now online. Spring breaks are being extended. It's going all over the place. Like big festivals and events are being canceled. Now, a lot of people may look at that and be like, oh my gosh, I'm getting scared. Oh my goodness. But honestly, we should be more scared if they weren't doing these types of things. If they were just carrying on as business as usual, instead of doing the things that should have been done like weeks ago, then that would have been more cause for concern. But just this, what they're calling it social distancing, is actually a good thing. Do not let it scare you into complete paralysis. And as we zoom out and look at greater society, I think that we really have to be careful, and we really have to keep in mind that there are really vulnerable populations that are going to have a hard time fighting this. And I'm talking about the people that are in detention centers, you know what I mean? The people that are in jails and prisons, people who are senior citizens, older people who already have health issues. And so we have to be careful when we talk like, oh girl, it's just older people, just people with immune system problems. I'm just like, girl, what are you talking about? And some people are just like, well, I'm not gonna die from it. I'm just like, okay, that may be true, but then you just gonna risk spreading it all over the place by being careless. That's what it sounds like. You're trying to be careless by saying, well, girl, I don't have to worry about it. It's just like, just educate yourself a little bit so that we can all be a little bit safer. You know what I mean? It's really not that difficult. I find it very interesting how people are scrambling now, and a lot of the things that very progressive people or very progressive politicians have been talking about for, years. Now people are suddenly seeing how that could be, these things could be a good idea. I saw headlines talking about we should give Americans $1,000 a month. I'm like, that sounds real familiar. Other people talking about, oh my goodness, How are we going to, schools are closing, what about childcare? I can't afford to go see a doctor, what's going on? I'm just like, wow, we had the capacity to take care of all of this. We saw examples of developed countries taking care of this for years, and we just sitting on our hands acting like nothing can happen. I mean, even just up until recently, there were bills being blocked. I mean, for coronavirus testing, for unemployment insurance, for paid sick leave, bills being blocked by the Republican Senate. It's absolutely ridiculous. So as we're wandering into the realm of politics, a lot of the issues, a lot of the problems have been rising up because of this administration's lack of competence and complete negligence. So here is a graph coming from the CDC about the new coronavirus cases that are appearing in the United States every day. Listen to this. The CDC said on the 12th that a total of at least 11,079 specimens, 11,079 people have been tested since January. Other numbers are being published as well. I think today The Atlantic, who is doing their own investigation, said that despite the fact that last week Vice President Mike Pence promised that roughly 1.5 million tests would soon be available, an ongoing Atlantic investigation can confirm only that 13,953 tests have been conducted nationally. By comparison, South Korea, which has one of the largest outbreaks outside of China, is testing nearly 20,000 people every day. And South Korea has a population of over 51 million people. So, I mean, you're looking at these graphs and shit comparing the testing done to the population of that country, and it's just like, girl, America is slacking. But wait, there's more, like there always is with this administration. So not only did Trump and his goons fire all of the HIV/AIDS Advisory Council in 2017, in 2018, they got rid of the US Pandemic Response Team. Trump's ass was confronted with this directly at this press conference or a little announcement thing that he tried to have, and then he declared a national emergency, and he tried to say some useless things like, well, I'm directing all hospitals to enact their emergency plans. I'm just like, all right, girl, just give. This reporter named Yamiche Alcindor asked him, you said you don't take responsibility for slow response to coronavirus, but your administration disbanded the White House Office on Pandemics. Like, basically, how do you respond to that? Trump was just like, that's a nasty question. I wasn't the one who did it, just I have a whole administration, a group of people. I was just like, wow, girl, that's just really ridiculous. And of course, by the way, he said he does not take responsibility for all that. He said he doesn't know, I don't know what that is, I don't know what's going on. Very strange answers. And since we're talking about Trump, there were a few officials from Brazil, I think one including the president of Brazil, they were all up on his ass, shoulder to shoulder. They tested, apparently positive for the coronavirus. Trump, before this conference, said that he wasn't really interested. He, not gonna be testing himself for the coronavirus. He was asked by reporters, are you gonna test yourself? Well, eventually, maybe. I'm like, wow, girl, so you think you shaking hands with all these motherfuckers? It's actually insane. And of course, we know there are bigger implications. A lot of the most destructive things that could potentially happen come from the markets. They come from the economy. They come from people potentially losing their jobs, losing income, all of that. So when the news first came out that he was grounding flights and all this stuff, the stock market went down, honey. And I'm talking about that shit. I mean, it was sinking like the Titanic. So what they did, what I think the feds did, they pumped 1.5 trillion into the market. A lot of people are trying to get into the nuance of it, and I will admit to you right now, and I'm sure does not come as a surprise, I'm not no financial advisor, I'm not an economist, but a lot of them are trying to get into the nuances of this, saying that, well, technically the government just gave them a loan or gave the banks a loan or whatever. It was just like, girl, the bottom line is that y'all really fabricated $1.5 trillion out of thin air, and I think that that amounts to the same number that the student loan debt is at right now. And before I even talk more about that 1.5 trillion was injected into the market real quick, and then it died just that quick, right? And this is important to keep in mind because Trump was at the press conference with a whole bunch of CEOs. I mean, it was the CEO of Walmart, Walgreens, Target, I think LabCorp, CVS, all of those people, even more, they were there after the market just did so horribly. So in my opinion, and based off of what other people are saying as well, that was done to try and restore faith in the stock market, get these girls excited to continue their damn investments and all this shit, whatever it is. It's actually insane how he's sitting here presented, like these CEOs are standing behind him during this pandemic like they're medical officials, like they're doctors or scientists or something. Like it's crazy how I saw him talking about the industries and the shipping industries and the cruise ship industry more than he was talking about the people, and his actions really displays what he cares about the most, and that's the coin, that's the economy, or that's probably his name attached to what the Dow is doing. All of that is more important to him than people. I think that one of the most interesting things about this whole coronavirus pandemic, or whatever you want to call it, is that we get to see how much of these systems, they're there to just terrorize human beings, and that's it, okay? This is one headline I saw. Bexar County judge says that the county is suspending arrests for minor offenses so as to not crowd jails during public health emergency. I saw counties and cities apparently saying that they're not going to go through with any evictions for the next, I don't know, it's either months or 3 months. So it really puts into perspective a lot of the things that super progressive people have been trying to, drill into the minds of so many people. It's just like, look at the systems around you, look at who they're made to benefit, while the rest of us are just sitting here suffering. I mean, I even saw some internet companies and phone companies saying, hey, guess what? We're not going to put no cap on the data anymore. I was just like, but of course, companies are still trying to be greedy as hell. I think I saw Whole Foods saying that, you know what, girls, y'all need to look around, and if you see a coworker who's sick or something, maybe you can donate your vacation time to them. It's just like after all these bills have been blocked, and it's just, how inhumane is it? Like, why would you not want the people who are the lifeblood of your company to be safe, secure, not sick, and not struggling to put food on their table? Why would you want them to be struggling to hold on to this job instead of making them feel comfortable? It's just craziness. But I really think that 1.5 trillion is really what pissed a lot of people off, including me. I think the first number I saw was 500 billion that they injected into the stock market, but I read further that was 1.5 trillion. It's just crazy because no one ever asks who's gonna pay for it, how we're gonna pay for that. It's just every time these banks and every time the stock market need to be bailed out, it's just like, oh well, girl, here goes some money, here goes some money. And a lot of people use the arguments when it comes to student loans and everything else. Well, y'all got yourselves into that position. Y'all got yourself, I mean, you took out the loan, you took out the student loans. This is crazy. Y'all made them damn investments, and y'all lost. But here comes somebody to bail y'all ass out. I hate the fact that this is happening, but if it has to happen, I'm happy that at least some people are starting to see, well, wait a minute. It's not making no sense. And it's just like, how come all the benefits and all the healthcare and all the, low prices or no prices that you want now that we're in a pandemic are seen as, oh, we gotta get it, we gotta have it, those are good things. But before Corona was coming at y'all jugulars, it was seen as some evil communism type shit. What's going on, sis? You changed your mind? So yeah, like I said, this channel, I'm not gonna turn my channel into like, what's the latest with the coronavirus? But I figured since it escalated so quickly that I would come up here and give y'all some facts, some statistics, some information, and do away with some misconceptions and some myths and stuff, because the amount of just breaking update that I've seen on social media, that shit is cause for anxiety. So the bottom line is, the first thing is please stay informed. The second thing is make sure you put things into perspective. Look at how many people have recovered. Look at how many people are experiencing mild symptoms. Some people experience no symptoms. Third thing is make sure we take care of, make sure we keep in mind the vulnerable populations. And that, of course, means that you're taking care of yourself so you don't spread the germs, the virus, to any of the people who are part of these vulnerable populations. The fourth thing is that a lot of the stuff that y'all were trying to take a huge shit on politically doesn't seem so bad now that the whole country's at risk. Now all of a sudden we're gonna find out, oh, we know how to pay for it, never mind. The country is only as protected as the quote-unquote lowest among us are. So honestly, it's either we get our shit together completely, or it's a lot of people that's gonna be doing a lot of coughing. That's all I got to say. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure that you check out my Patreon at patreon.com/AdrianExpression. I love you all so much. Take care of yourself, stay safe, stay sanitary, and make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.